And we're live. What is going on, everybody? My name is Nikki Smokes, joined by my co-host Jay. You were listening to the Smoke Show. It's Aloha Friday. It's the last preseason preview of the year, and then we get into the regular season. We get into all the good stuff. So, Jay, welcome to the show, brother. Cheers. Happy Aloha Friday. Welcome to the last preseason preview of the year, man. Feels so good. Feels so good.
So awesome. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me again. Now, I'm very excited. It sucks again just because we have almost zero information to go off of.
Yep.
But still, with that being said, last preseason game, which obviously the bye is kind of annoying. Like, again, even though it's preseason football, I would love to watch preseason football. But this is the last preseason game, the last exhibition. And then we get to see the real thing going into New England, or not going into New England, but facing New England. And the regular season begins. So I'm very excited for that. Again, thanks for having me on the show. And let's have a good one today.
What are we going to do with our life next week? Like, what are we going to do? Like, at least preseason gives us, like a build up. It's like, oh, sweet, the Dolphins play this week. Are we going to be able to just get through it just knowing that we're only 2 weeks away? Or is there something inside of you that's going to be like, damn, I wish we did have a preseason game this week?
Yeah, I think that's what I was alluding to. Like, there is a little bit of me that wishes we have it. Obviously, it's much better for the players. So, like, I'm not against it, obviously, with injuries and stuff. But I think for us, like, content-wise and going into it, just because, again, like you said, we're not going to have too much to talk about. There's going to be a lot of build-up, which obviously, again, we all know how anticipation builds up to the first regular season game. But I think it's going to be a lot of build-up. It's going to be a lot of, protecting the 53-man roster. And, like, even though there's no game, I feel like this is when you get into the nitty-gritty. There should be some roster moves happening, not just releasing players. Hopefully there's a couple trades in there. Not going to name names right now, but hopefully there's some trades in there, and hopefully the roster changes a little bit. Maybe see some new players on the team. So there will still be some things to look forward to, obviously. And again, it's like we are looking forward to the preseason game. Me and you, like, we'll watch the Dolphins no matter who's playing, but It has usually been bums anyway. So it's like it's not like that big of a drop-off, but we should be good to go. And, man, I think it's going to be good too, just because now it's no more, we're going into the Eagles. Dude, take in after tomorrow night, our first game, our next game is the real
regular season
It's
game.
a regular season game against the bums in New England, the absolute bums in New England. Whack Jones. Tua's going to show why he was his backup, why he was his water boy. I'm very excited.
Why he was his little boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, sit on the bench, watch the big dog play, brother. So I'm very excited to watch this. I'm very excited to see what goes on. But it should be fun. I don't know. Again, we have no idea what we're going to expect tomorrow. It's going to be fun to get that almost out of the way, because then it's right into New England. That's when we can, dude, imagine. We can start previewing regular season games. My God.
And then recapping them and then hyping them up and then watching. It's going to be unreal. It really is going to be unreal, man. I cannot wait. But before we get into all the good stuff, Tyreek Hill is by far one of the funniest players that we've ever had. I mean, I don't think there's been a more entertaining Miami Dolphin player in the last 20 years. And I think you know where I'm going with this. But there's that video of Julia Rose asking Tyreek Hill. She goes, would you handcuff yourself to Jackson Mahomes for 24 hours? And he goes, oh, hell no. Hell no. And she goes, but hear me out. You'll win another Super Bowl. And Tyreek Hill goes, I ain't gonna lie to you. That goddamn Super Bowl can wait. I thought that was a hilarious response. I did. But he definitely pissed off Patrick Mahomes, because everyone obviously hates his brother. But that was a little disrespectful towards Patrick. Coming at his brother like that.
Hey, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes might hate his brother too, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably does. But still, like Tyreek Hill, first it's Tua's more accurate than him. Then he likes Tua more than Mahomes. There's a lot of shade going on over there. I don't care what Tyreek says. But he said that Super Bowl could wait. Nah, I'm not with that, man. Because I would handcuff myself to Jackson Mahomes for 48 hours if it meant the Dolphins could win a Super Bowl. Am I crazy?
Dude, that's what I was saying. At first, I was like, yes, I'm on your side. But he was talking about the Super Bowl, and he said that could wait. Obviously, he's won one before. So, he knows what it feels like. So, it's, like, not his first one. I feel like that's where he's getting at. Obviously, we're not going to read too much into this. It's clearly, like, just for jokes. But to me, it's like, dude, I would do some crazy stuff for a Super Bowl, man. So, like, handcuff myself to Jackson Mahomes, yeah, it'd be a rough 24, 48 hours. Like, it'd be rough. But dude, I'm guaranteed a Super Bowl? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. And I would, bro, imagine being the one who, like, because obviously we're not on the field, we're just fans. Imagine being the one who earned the Super Bowl, bro. Oh my God. That would be, you're legendary if you do that. But obviously, again, it was very funny. And I don't know. I think Tyreek was trying to make a statement. There's no shot he's hanging out with Jackson Mahomes.
What's the craziest thing you would do to guarantee a Dolphins Super Bowl win?
I don't even know. I don't like because everyone asks that question. I don't know what the craziest thing I would do because everyone goes kind of weird with it. But like the craziest thing I would do, because I knew he was gonna ask the question. I even tried to plan
Where
for
do
it,
you
but it's
draw
like
your line? How about that? Where would you draw your line?
okay, obviously nothing illegal. There's nothing illegal I would do unless it's like jaywalking or some shit like that. Like nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do nothing crazy. I'm trying to think, dude. What the worst thing? Because I'm sure, like, if you give me a couple options, I'd be like yes or no. But dude, for a Super Bowl, it's like we get pretty deep into it. I don't know.
All right,
Like,
so there's two separate answers. So there's drunk smoke, so when I'm intoxicated after a Dolphins win or loss, and then there's sober smoke. So drunk smoke, and I went on a space after we beat the Patriots last year, and I'm like, you guys have no idea how much this team means to me. If I had to run on the 50-yard line and light myself on fire as a sacrifice for the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl, I would do it. And at the time, I genuinely believed that.
probably would have, yeah.
I would risk myself so my fellow Doll fans could know what it feels like to win a Super Bowl. I've never experienced a playoff win, but that's drunk smoke. Obviously, I'd like to be alive and watch the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. But I mean, there's not many things that I wouldn't do.
It's more like what I like. There's a couple of prerequisites. I would like to stay alive. I would also not like to end anyone else's life. You know, that'd be
Yes,
pretty good.
I would like to. I'd like to keep my parents alive. I think I would draw the
No,
line at parents.
nothing illegal. Marries, marries. Nothing like that. So I don't know. It's I would say it's pretty far down the line. I don't have like a specific example for you, but I do some crazy stuff, man, just to see. Dude, we're already doing crazy stuff, and we haven't even seen a playoff win. So take that
Yep.
for what it's worth. You know what I mean? Like we're already doing some crazy shit. Like I'm sure, like you see the things that are happening at tailgates, you see the things that are happening on Twitter and stuff like that. So we're already kind of over the line in terms of what would you do. So, dude, I guess we'll see. If we ever win a Super Bowl, man, I think there's going to be some
I
crazy
couldn't
stuff happening in the
imagine.
streets. I would hope to be up there in Miami, man. If they win, like the vibes would be incredible. Personally, I can speak on it as the Raptors won a championship, dude. That was the greatest night of my life. The streets were a vibe, bro, until like 8 a.m. the next day. We're out there.
Everyone
You're
was
just
just getting
everyone just
going
energy is
crazy.
on top. Everyone's going crazy. I was like in a little bit of a suburb. Like we went to a watch party in like a little bit of suburb, but it's like a bigger suburb of Toronto. Then even the streets in Toronto, obviously you see on TV, were going crazy. And then you have like groups. Like there was big groups. So if you didn't know, it's called Jurassic Park. The people outside of the stadium who watch. But there was a bunch of like mini Jurassic Park. So where I was watching, there's still like a good like 5,000, maybe more people. Everyone watching outside, big screen. You know, like everything is popping. So man, the streets are a vibe. Like man, you have to experience yourself because no one like it doesn't matter where you're from, anything like who you are, da da da. If you have one piece of Raptors memorabilia on and you're out there in the streets, bro, you are
Like you were the
brothers for
homie for the
life.
day.
Like
Yeah.
you are brothers for life. Like it's like you'll dap them up. You're saying what's good. You're chatting them up. Like it doesn't matter, bro. You could be like even if you hated someone for that day, bro. If you're both
You were
Raptors fans,
brothers.
you're brothers, bro. So it's a fantastic vibe. I think it's an awesome thing, and like I'm glad I got to experience that in my life. And I'm sure, like, dude, if the Dolphins win, I'd have to make my way up to Miami.
Like we always say, winning cures all. So you're
Yep.
on board for 48 hours with Jackson Mahomes if it meant the Super Bowl, right?
Unfortunately, but yeah.
Oh, I do it in my sleep. Do it in my sleep. I've seen the Heat win 3 championships. I've seen I was only like 4 years old when the Marlins won the World Series. But I mean the Heat championships were fun, but I love the Heat, but I don't love them as much as I love the Dolphins. Like I don't love any sport more than I love the Dolphins. So if the Dolphins were to win a Super Bowl, that I could die a happy man. I really, really could. Um, Dolphins Twitter is a great place, not
And
just
the
for
worst
us.
place, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best and the worst. And AJ Brown fell victim to Dolphins Twitter. So shout out my boy Kev.
Hollywood Kev, give him a follow. By the way, great follow on
So by
Twitter.
the way, great follow on Twitter. If you haven't already, followed Hollywood Kev on Twitter. Now, Hollywood Kev, his username, as I just said, is Hollywood Kev, but Javon Holland's username is Hollywood Vaughn. Now, Hollywood Kev's profile picture is a picture of Javon Holland. So someone from our media went out there and posted a video of Tyreek Hill cooking Darius Slay. And then AJ Brown followed up by saying, why don't you post the videos of our wide receivers cooking your cornerbacks? And then Hollywood Kev comments, what are you flexing a push off for? And AJ Brown responds to Hollywood Kev, but mind you, he thinks this is Javon Holland. So I think this is very, very out of pocket. AJ Brown says, I never said anything negative about X. I respect him. I just said keep the same energy. I know it's practice, but let me tell you how this is going to go down since you have X's dick in your mouth. You can't fuck with me in real life, little boy. I'm with whatever. I'm with whatever you want tomorrow. Choose wisely. AJ Brown posts that on Twitter, and he genuinely believes he thinks he's talking to Javon Holland. And then he finds out it's not Javon Holland. And he goes, I thought that was bruh. That's a fan page. I got to get off this app, man. LMAO, forgive me. Now, I know he might have thought, well, I know he found out it was a fan page. But is it not disrespectful towards Javon Holland for him to come out there and say it like that?
Oh, of course, dude. And he's talking about how he has X's dick in his mouth, all this stuff. And like,
that's what
when I read that, I thought, okay, he might be talking about a fan account because obviously we gas up X, right? And obviously Javon Holland and X are boys. And like we gas up X, of course, because, you know, we're big fans. He's the top 3 corner in the NFL. But then you realize he thought that was Javon. And again, like we said, like X brought him to the Pro Bowl, all this type of stuff. So we know they're boys. Like X took him under his wing, mentor type stuff. So now he actually thinks that's Javon Holland. So he's saying, like, you got X's dick in your mouth, all this stuff. Which, first of all, yeah, he's his teammate. Like, I don't know what you're talking about there. Like, imagine, like, AJ Brown being, like, if Devontae Smith, like, gassed him up, would AJ Brown be like, fuck all that? Like, that's so stupid anyways. Right. Then he finds out it actually is him, and he deletes the tweet for whatever reason. Like, if he, like, he's talking about choose wisely. Why didn't you delete the tweet up, bro? That shit ready. Yeah, of course, he had the screenshot. And then he tweets about, oh, I thought it was him. So the big thing is, and I hope to God, because I think everyone had him. I know you had him. I hope Javon saw that, motivated him a little bit. Oh, he
saw it for sure. There's no way he doesn't see it.
Exactly. So by the way, like Javon knows, like AJ Brown was talking about him like that. So there is a theory, a sneaking suspicion that that's the reason practice was canceled yesterday. Obviously, there's not too much validity to it, but it's a very, very funny situation. I think it could be really funny if one of the boys, Hollywood Kev on Twitter, got practice canceled because there was some serious beef. Like there was some serious beef. Clearly, AJ Brown was having none of it, even though it's crazy because, again, we were dusting their cornerbacks all day. So obviously, there's video of that. There was like one video of AJ Brown having a bobbled catch on X. So it's like, yeah, good for you. And yeah, it was a push off. So it was very funny how he got so mad at a account. Let's say he even thought it was Javon Holland. He got mad that Javon Holland said it was a push off. Like, come on, dude. There's no shot. So it's such a funny situation. I think it's bro, an insane L for AJ Brown. Clearly, it's an insane L. And he even deleted the tweet. How are you gonna talk like that, but then delete the tweet? Keep that shit up if you're talking like that.
Ghost, welcome to the channel, buddy. I mean, I claim you as the face of Dolphins Twitter. Today you got a microphone, so I don't know what you have up your sleeve, but let's just start with this whole AJ Brown thing. Like, what's your take on it?
Yo, shout out Kev, Hollywood Kev on Twitter. I fuck with Hollywood Kev pretty good. That's some hilarious shit. Low point for AJ Brown on Twitter, for sure. Low point. I'm a big AJ Brown fan, too. I was a big DK Metcalf and AJ Brown fan when they're there at Ole Miss. Monsters at wide receiver. You want to have a guy that's just massive bodied, athletic, just a freak. But dude, what an L, man. I mean, he did. I'm in a chat with Kev. One of the chats I'm in, Kev is in there, and we're just like, dude, W's all day and all night. That was hysterical. And he kept it going for another tweet, and then AJ Brown was like, "Oh shit, I got the wrong guy," which is crazy because Twitter's very, very, very easy to see if you have the right guy.
Verified tag, the check mark.
I mean, he may just, I don't know, maybe he's just not on Twitter a lot, but I mean, there's so many things. That's like a plane crash. Like so many things have to go wrong for that to happen, and it happened. You know, things happen, dude. You know.
I think it's great because I feel like Kevin's Twitter account like hit its peak, you know? Like he has almost the identical like @ symbol for Javon Holland, has Javon Holland as his profile picture. And the fact that he got that vulgar of a response from another team's wide receiver, Like that's peak. Like that's what an account like that lives for. You know, it's like I'm gonna act like I'm Javon Holland for moments like this, and to get this response. I mean, this guy, AJ Brown, mind you, professional wide receiver.
He got him. He got him twice. He got him twice.
He got him twice.
Like he didn't get him just once. It wasn't like a mistake. He got him twice, dude. Like before.
I just can't believe that he had AJ Brown saying, "Since you have X's dick in your mouth, you can't fuck with me in real life, little boy." Like that line right there makes the whole tweet. You got a professional athlete to publicly tweet, "Since you have Xavier Howard's dick in your mouth."
Shout out Kev Hollywood, man. That guy's the best.
Which, by the way, what a weird thing to say of all things about Javon Holland. Just X's dick in your mouth. Yeah, he's gassing his teammate. What a crazy thing to say. To literally, again, he's thinking it's Javon Holland. To literally tweet just saying, "Oh, I pushed off." That's something that usually people would just brush off. Whatever, someone's talking shit in the NFL. Dude, he felt the need to respond to that, and he said that, which was out of nowhere.
He was triggered. He was triggered because he knows it's true. Sure. He knows it's true.
Yeah, you don't respond to something in that fashion unless you're trying to just immediately defend yourself and cry. I mean, it was clearly a push off. He did push him off. I mean,
of course,
it's one-on-ones. One-on-ones always favor the offense. Like if a defender wins on a one-on-one, it's very rare and it's very, I don't know, you don't see that often. But he did push off. He did push off. He knew he pushed off, and there's no reason for that response other than knowing that he was in the wrong. But it doesn't matter. Practice.
Let me ask you guys this, because he said you can't fuck with me, little boy. Do you think Javon Holland could fuck with AJ Brown?
Not in a street fight. Not in a street fight. Like on the field.
Like
if he's coming downhill,
I think Javon takes his head off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking on the field.
Yeah, not in a one-on-one fight. There's not many people that could. I would pay money to see AJ Brown versus DK Metcalf in a boxing match or a street fight. But I'm talking about NFL over the middle. Can Javon Holland fuck with AJ Brown?
Yo, if he's flying, dude, he could take out anyone. You saw what he did to a tight end in Jonnu Smith. He flipped him over.
Jonnu Smith kill some people out there, bro.
Like he flipped him over. So I think if he's coming downhill, and a lot of that stuff's about technique as well, which we know Javon Holland's like a top 10 safety in the NFL. I think I'm taking Javon. Obviously, we're super biased, like clearly super biased. But give me Javon Holland all day, and he's gonna be an All-Pro this year.
He is though. That's facts. That's not cap. You think Javon can hang with AJ Ghost?
100%. What are you talking about? Off the field?
No, on the field. On the field.
On the field, 100%. He takes his head off. Like, dude, Jonnu Smith bigger than AJ Brown, dude. I mean, Jonnu Smith is a big dude. He came downhill. I mean, Javon's a hard hitter. I mean, he takes the right
hard hitter, bro. He lays the stick.
Fantastic hitter. I was super impressed with just how aggressive he was in the NFL. I mean, making that transition, he didn't play his last year of college, and he steps into a 2020 or 2020 role. That's the most impressive thing that I've seen.
Didn't miss a beat. That's my favorite part about him is he just lights everyone up. Like he stops people in their tracks. You remember that Tennessee game? Tennessee game, they had that big ass running back coming through. It was like 3rd and 7 or whatever, and Javon just meets him right at the line and stops him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, like, Foreman.
I think he goes with anyone. Man. I think he goes with anyone. So there was an interview with Tua, or whatever you call it, press conference, media after practice. And I just love this new style of Tua and just how he deals with the media. So they were asking him about, what's different. And Tua's like, everything's different. Like the confidence that the guys have walking in, walking out, during practice, the guys on offense, everyone's confidence is just at a whole new level. Everything just feels different. And I can't point to one thing. And I think that is like the nicest little jab. I think that's like a left hook that you just didn't see coming, and it was all at Brian Flores' face. Do you think that I'm tripping for thinking that Tua is throwing that subliminal left hook at Brian Flores?
No, man, you're 100% right. 100% right.
Oh, yeah, I think, because that's, again, we all know Tua's a nice guy. That's, as far as he's going to go. But when you hear him say anything even close to saying, because even when they were talking about right after Flores was fired, they brought in Mike Daniel. He's like, he drafted me, kind of got him back with when Brian Flores was talking about when he was asked about Tua, he's our quarterback. That's all he would say in a monotone voice, not excited at all. Right. So then when they asked Tua about Flores after Flores got fired, he goes, "Hey, he drafted me," and that was it. So you're not going to get much out of Tua, but even the fact that he's hinting at that, which is so clear. I think it's an awesome thing for him. I love the snarkiness that we've seen from Tua lately. I think it's good for his confidence. I think it's a reflection of what we're going to see on the field this year. So I think I'm very excited to see what we can do. And I love seeing Tua in the press conferences a little bit more, because even the reporters, like, they're trying to get at him, like, they're all, and I'm not saying it's on them, but they're always talking about, oh, people don't believe in you, da 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 da. Like, it's usually like, and again, it's their job, but they're always talking about the negative aspects and how Tom Brady, da da da, like all this stuff. And Tua's finally firing back himself. He's not having anyone else do it for him. So I'm very excited to see Tua kind of take a stand for himself, just because I think that confidence is building up inside himself, and I think we're going to see that on the field for sure.
Ghost.
It's really funny that you bring this up, and I'm not going to give away sources, but I got some of them. Okay, I know somebody that worked. He hangs out with Tua just about every day, talks to him just about every day. I'm not going to say names. You don't say any names. I'm not dropping any sources.
I won't
here,
say a name,
but I think we know who we're talking about. But anyway, he said Tua's a completely different person this year. Every time he sees him, he gets a haircut every single week, shaves every single week. He said it's nothing like last year. And that, dude, when he said he gets a haircut every week now, and he shaves every week, bro. When you're getting a haircut every week, you're feeling it. We're all males, man. We're all guys here. When you're getting a haircut every week, you're fucking killing it. Right. When you're not taking care of yourself, when you're not shaving, when you're not shaping up. I rock a beard. I shape up every week. When you're not fueling yourself, you don't give a shit. But this guy's getting a haircut every single week. That's all I needed to hear.
That's all I needed to hear.
This guy's throwing for 30 touchdowns or more this year. I mean, once I heard, I mean, that's a real thing too. Like, I'm not making that up.
We're seeing Donnie, bro. This is Donnie now.
And I mean, I guess you kind of just answered the next question I was going to ask, but I was going to say, do you guys genuinely believe that the confidence is different? But if Tua's out there getting a haircut every single week, I mean, just as a typical male, like, if you're getting a haircut every week, you were feeling yourself and you were walking around, you're strutting. Like, you walk around, you look at anything and it's yours. Like, whether it's a girl, whether it's some food, whether it's football practice, you're getting a haircut every week. You are making a statement, brother. But aside from Tua, the entire team, you bring in guys like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle coming into his second year. You bring a guy like Teron Armstead in. Are you guys sipping on this Kool-Aid that it's genuinely different inside the facility and also outside with, the guys bonding after practice and hanging out and things like that? Are you bought into that? Or do you think it's just like he said, she said, like feel good shit for the post-practice press conferences?
Absolutely. Because one, we're hearing that it's not just like, oh, we're thinking this, we're hearing from the reporters, it's different. The players, every single player, by the way, when we were signing them, it was either I signed here because of McDaniel, if they were signing here, and if they were already here, they were saying, oh, the vibes are different. Everything's different. They're talking about how it's much more positive energy. Mike McDaniel's talking about how the teams that do well that I've seen have all been close off the field, and he's brought that energy here as well. Dude, when you have Xavier Howard tattooing a peace sign on his neck because he's at peace now, there's one clear change from this year to last year. You like that?
Wait, you think that's because of McDaniel and not his brand new contract?
Oh, it's a little bit of both, but I think there's someone.
I love McDaniel, but I don't think he's the reason why.
I don't think it's because of McDaniel. I think it's because of the person who left. But I think it's
what? Wait, whoa! No, you can't make it.
I think he's at peace now. I think he didn't like Brian Flores. Is my assumption.
You think he hated Brian Flores to the point that when he left his life, he got a peace sign?
Oh no! Obviously there's a contract thing. Like I just think everything got better. I think everything played a part into it. He just seems like happier now, more at peace, like he got it done. That's my theory. It's a crazy take. Sorry, I'm following it up. I just think it's crazy. I was just using that as an example because there's so many examples you can take. Every single player who was here last year and is coming back this year has said there is a different energy, which is basically my end point, was that every single player is like, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid because they're sipping the Kool-Aid. The players are sipping the Kool-Aid that Mike McDaniel is pouring out. So I'm on it too. If the players are going to be, there's no reason for me not to be. And again, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. That's different this year. I think this is the best roster we've had in years. Again, you can say what you want about Chris Greer. You can say they should have fired him a long time ago, which they probably should have. But no matter what you want to say about the GM, the coach, the quarterback even, this roster is the best roster we have had in years. So yes, I'm the most excited I've ever been for a Miami Dolphins season, and I'm sipping the Kool-Aid.
Ghost, real quick before I let you go, how's that Kool-Aid taste? Are you sipping it or no? Oh, he doesn't know his mic's not working.
My bad. It's a new fucking thing for me. All right.
I know.
I'm not a
You're a rookie. It's fine.
professional.
It's fine.
But anyway, I drink the Kool-Aid every year, but this year it's just a little bit sweeter, isn't it?
Yes.
Just a little bit sweeter. And
Yeah.
I'll end on that note. I got to bounce out, fellas. I'm going to a baseball game. It's always a pleasure with you guys.
Of course, hop on anytime.
Yes,
if you guys aren't already following him, you definitely are at Ghost of Adam Gase on Twitter. He's a great guy, great person to follow. Go get to that baseball game before the girlfriend comes in and takes your microphone away. We don't want that happening.
Staring at me through the door right now.
All right, buddy.
See you.
All right, so Jay, I wanted to ask you. It's the last preseason game of the year. So far, so good. We've had a couple kinks. We've had a couple bruises. Jalen Waddle, McDaniel's being very cautious with him. I don't see Jalen Waddle playing this Saturday, but I do see him playing week 1. If you're Mike McDaniel, I think so far we've been pretty lucky with the injury bug. I know we lost Trill Will for the entire year due to the ACL tear, and that definitely sucks. But and I hate to say this, but at least it wasn't Tyreek Hill or Teron Armstead. So for the most part, our starters have made it through healthy enough to make it to week 1. Are you playing any starters this Saturday night if you were Mike McDaniel?
Probably not. If I'm Mike, okay, so if it was me, there's probably a couple of them I would play, but I think if you're Mike McDaniel, probably not playing anyone. I think this third week is taking the fourth week from 2 years ago where you're putting all the bums in. Like we've talked about, and I've said this multiple times, this is the game because this is the last game you have to make your final cuts. Final cuts are coming soon. So who the starters are on the team. Like there's not even a chance that they're getting cut. Obviously, they're ones. So this is the game to see out of the 3s and 4s who's going to be those final ones filling out that roster because we have an 80-man roster right now. We got to cut that to 53. 27 people have to go. Yep. So this game is going to play a big part in that. So I think even though maybe not a lot of starters are playing, if any, I do think that fans should be watching because you will see guys who will be cut or will still have a job based on this game. So I think it's very important that you do that. If I was to play any starters, I'm trying to run through it in my head right now. I probably wouldn't play any of the receivers. I don't play any of the quarterback. I don't play Tua. I don't play the running backs. However, I do play Connor Williams. I do play Austin Jackson. I do play Liam Eichenberg, God forbid, but I got to play Larnell Coleman for primary backup for Teron Armstead, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm playing him regardless.
I'm playing Mike Gesicki. He's got to learn how to block at some, he's got to be on the field. He's got to use this playing time because he's talked about how he's learning an entire new position because he's actually going to try and play tight end this year. He needs all the reps he can get, so I'm playing Mike Gesicki. On defense, I'm not playing too many of the guys. Maybe some of the younger guys like Jalen Phillips. I'm probably not playing Javon Holland, to be honest. I'm probably not playing X. Obviously, Byron's hurt, or not hurt, but he's on the PUP list right now, and obviously he's hopefully ready for week 1. I'm playing Brandon Jones, who I think will probably be the starting safety over Eric Rowe, but I'm playing him. He's a young guy. Obviously, you're playing Channing Tindall. I'm probably not playing Jerome Baker or Landon Roberts. And then if any of the guys on the defensive line really want to play and Mike McDaniel feels like he needs to figure out who's going to be the guys getting more of the rotation on the defensive line, sure. But I'm trying not to play Ogbus for sure not playing, but I'm trying not to play Wilkins or Sealer or Raekwon Davis or anyone like that. So to me, it's specific starters who are clearly not just locked in. Clearly, they have something to work on. Like Connor Williams again. I think Connor Williams has to be on the field tomorrow. I don't want to see.
I think every starter has something to work on.
Well, that's fair, but wouldn't you say Connor Williams snapping is so far gone?
Well, here's my thing with Connor Williams in his snapping. Are these reps in this preseason game going to help him? Sure, but what about all the reps that he's taking throughout training camp and OTAs? If he doesn't have it figured out now, when is he going to figure it out? Are we really going to send out a guy week 1 in the regular season that is still inconsistent with his snaps? I don't think so. But at the same time, I don't really think we have a choice unless we go ahead and start Dieter. But do you see us starting Dieter?
I don't know. I would kind of like to see the Connor Williams at left guard, Dieter at center, and then obviously the rest of the line.
But do you think you could just make that switch 2 weeks before the season starts?
I don't think we will, and that's why I think that you're saying how much will they really matter. I think game reps are very important. I don't care who the quarterback you're snapping is to
Just
make
the
the
snap
checks.
itself needs to be good.
Yes, because and obviously he's playing center now, not left guard. He has to make the checks with the offensive line. He has to make the checks with the quarterback. And I think game reps are so important because you can do everything you want in practice, but there will be some trends against your own defense. If you're going up against a different team, the things you're seeing, the fronts that you're seeing on the defensive line will be different. Maybe it's something you haven't seen before. So I think it's important that he's out there to make those checks to obviously snap the ball. I think everyone knows he needs to improve on that. So I think it's important for him to get game reps specifically. Same thing with a guy like Mike Gesicki. You can train as much as you want in practice, but there is something about blocking a guy, like you said, 6'5", 350 or whatever, 250, getting out there on the defensive end, like who you haven't seen before, who isn't trying to be nice to you, who doesn't want to injure you because, oh, it's our teammate, like he's a great receiver, da-da-da-da. You need to get against guys who are trying to make the team. They're trying to save their job. There's no games in preseason, especially in this last game. These are guys who are fighting for their life, surviving. And the stories are very sad, but they're surviving.
Yep.
I want Mike Gesicki going up against guys like that to get his game reps in. So there are a couple of particular starters who I want in, but no one important, obviously.
If I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm not playing a single starter. I made it this far without too many injuries. I know Trill Will is gone, but other than that, I think we've had a successful offseason of making it through healthy. You look at the Browns, the Buccaneers, they all lost studs on the offensive line. Excuse me, the Bud Light's coming up. Okay. Damn, I thought I had my mic muted. I didn't. But yeah,
did not.
If I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm not playing a starter. And I know game reps are very, very valuable. Connor Williams, I understand where you're coming from, and I do believe he should go out there. But aside from him, man, I'm not playing any of the starters. Now, AJ, does he need reps? Absolutely. But if he goes down, what a disaster that would be. At least with Connor's, God forbid, knock on wood, if he were to go down, we have a backup center. That's really the only position we have a backup in that we could plug in right away and not have to move anyone else on the offensive line. So I'm with you on Connor Williams. Obviously, I don't want to see him get hurt, but I'm comfortable with Dieter going in there for a week, 2 weeks, God forbid, if he goes down. But as for Tua, do I think he's earned the right to where he doesn't need to get these reps? No. But do I think he's earned the right to not play because, God forbid, he gets injured? I don't want to see Teddy Bridgewater starting as the quarterback week 1. Yes. Like, I've been so unimpressed with Teddy that I'd rather Tua not go out there and get those reps like in a preseason game, because we're going to see everything that we need to see from Tua weeks 1 through 4. Hypothetically, say Tua goes out there and he goes for 115 yards and 1 touchdown and 2 drives, right? We're all going to be fired up on Twitter. But if he goes out there week 1 and gets the Patriots and he absolutely shits the bed, everyone's going to be calling for Skylar Thompson. And that's just how it is. Now, on the contrary, if Tua goes out there this preseason game and he throws for 3 interceptions on 3 drives, and then he goes out there against the Patriots and throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, we're all going to be talking about the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl. So I've seen enough from Teddy Bridgewater to the point where I know I do not want to see him as my starting quarterback going into week 1. So I don't want to risk Tua. Teron Armstead, he's never played a full season in his career. He hasn't played any preseason games. It would be idiotic to go ahead and play him for the 3rd and final preseason game, where it means absolutely nothing if you're a starter. For the guys fighting for a roster spot, 100%. But for a guy like Teron Armstead, he does not need to be taking any snaps. And it kills me to say it. Well, I already know Jalen Waddle's not going to play. But Tyreek Hill, I'm fine with waiting. I'd rather wait the 2 weeks and see the real thing, because I know the play calling is going to be vanilla. I know we're not going to want to get him banged up. We're not going to want him going across the middle. We're not going to want him catching a bubble screen, and if someone makes a block, he gets decapitated. I am fine with waiting another 2 weeks to see the full show. I believe I've seen enough of the preview. I'm cool with seeing the younger guys go out there and battle it out for roster spots. I just don't see the gain that the Dolphins have going up against the New England Patriots by playing their starters in this preseason game up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And from the Patriots side, all I've heard is nothing but bad things. I've heard nothing but bad things. I heard the offense is abysmal. The play calling's been terrible. Devontae Parker got absolutely bullied in the joint practices. I don't want to give the Patriots any sort of competitive edge, because I already think we're a much more dominant team. I think if we go out there with the roster that we currently have 100% healthy, we should beat the absolute piss out of them. And for us to lose any key starter in a meaningless preseason game to somewhat level out the talent difference between us and the Patriots, I think that would be Mike McDaniel's first big mistake as a head coach.
Oh, dude, you're talking about Tyreek Hill. Dude, if there's no shot Tyreek plays, and it's good for, obviously, him not getting injured, but it's also good for the storyline, man. I'm way better waiting to see Tyreek Hill for the first time in a Miami Dolphins uniform in a regular season with Tua, where we will break the – dude, we will be the absolute breaks off of the
We
New
should
England
absolutely
Patriots.
fuck them up.
Slaughter. It should be slaughter. Because,
We
dude,
really should.
I am talking about – and listen, I'm not a Dolphins fan who's just going to shit on the other teams in the division if it's not warranted. I think the Jets are they've done a solid job in the rebuild. A lot of that depends on Zach Wilson, who I'm personally not like the biggest on, but I think their team like is solid. Like they have a chance to maybe dethrone the Patriots in terms of at least being not last in the division.
I agree.
So I think that, dude, we should go out there week 1, fully healthy, and destroy them. There should be no shot. I want to see Mike McDaniel 1-0 as a head coach, and I want to see a clear difference in talent level. This is like the old guy. This is like Cerrone because he's so old. He needs to get out of the game.
Cerrone.
He needs to retire. Bill Belichick, obviously, he's still a very, very good coach, but dude, this is like
sucks
the old
without
ways.
Brady though. You look at his record without Brady. That shit's ass.
This is like the old dog, like the old ways. Like he's still like a guy who's like not a player's coach. Like it's my way or the highway, stubborn, versus Mike McDaniel, the ultimate player's coach. There's a clear clash of style in the coaches. I think they're all about the big, and like I think we're all about speed and creating space. I want to see us go out there and just run around these guys, just absolutely fly around on defense and on offense. Our defense is so fast, dude, and it gets no credit, obviously because of the speed we have on offense with Waddle, Tyreek, and Raheem Mostert. But our defense, dude, it's quick. It's fast. Guy like Channing Tindall is fast. Javon Holland's range is crazy. So you have these guys, Jalen Phillips, who is a great speed rusher.
Christian Wilkins for a big man.
Sealer's fast too.
Quick.
Woo. Yep. So there's some speed on the defense. So I am so excited to watch this team play. And I would be so upset. What's up? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I would be so upset if we get an injury. So to me, the only guy is like Connor Williams. And I think Mike Gesicki should play. And like maybe a couple other guys. But other than that, there should be there's like even most of the two shouldn't be in the game. Like Raheem Mostert should not be in the game, right? Like there's so many guys, like even like
Raheem Mostert's RB1, brother. I know you love Chase
disagree.
Edmonds.
Nah, Chase Edmonds. Mike McDaniel.
How can you disagree? I was at practice and Raheem Mostert was out there with the ones getting the 1 reps.
Okay, maybe right now, but I think by like week 5, Edmonds will be getting the most.
Yeah,
of the
maybe
share.
because Mostert would be hurt by then. But
maybe, yeah. But it's obviously a committee. But dude, I think the reason I love Chase Edmonds and like I think he's like the truth. Mike McDaniel, like he was a division rival of the 49ers, and I think Mike McDaniel, after game planning stuff, he was always like, man, that Chase Edmonds. And like you hear on Travis Wingfield's podcast, obviously he's the Dolphins guy in terms of practice, but you get to see even the other reporters, everything you hear from practice is how even though he's like he needs to learn this new wide zone because he's always been in an inside zone with Cliff Kingsbury, is that he's adapting so well, he's learning the playbook so well, he's sharp with his cuts because this is the reason also I think Gaskin has to go because he has no vision. In this wide zone offense, you have to be able to find the hole and cut up and have that vision to be able to find the gap in the offensive line because they're all pushing to the side and you got to pick a hole and explode through. And I think he is so explosive. And I really think Chase Edmonds' play style fits that. And I think that's the reason Mike McDaniel probably said, listen, Chris Greer, I need Chase Edmonds. He's not going to cost that much money either. I think he has some untapped potential that hasn't been used on Arizona, and I've seen him up close as we've played him twice a year, every year since I've been in San Francisco. So I think that's why he loves, and he talks about it in the press conferences too. I just think that's why. The difference is, though, Raheem Mostert has another level of untapped and ungodly
He's
speed.
So fast, man.
He's so fast, and he knows the offense more than than Chase Edmonds. So there is something there. So to me, I would love to see a 50-50 split between the two. Sony Michel getting the change of pace, short yardage situations. But I would love to see a 50-50 split between the two because I think Chase Edmonds offers you so many different things. He's a better pass blocker than Raheem Mostert. Also, his receiving ability out of the backfield is fantastic. So I think he'll be out there for most of the third downs anyway. So that's something he'll have over Raheem Mostert for sure. But I think it's a very exciting time because When was the last time we had talent like this at the running back position? And by the way, it's not even crazy talent. I'm not trying to gas them like these. There are some bell cow backs. But, dude, after having Myles Gaskin, Ryan Fitzpatrick led us in rushing yards that 1 year, for God's sake. So it's nice to finally have some quality running backs.
I want to go back to the Patriots for one quick second, and then we'll go back to the running backs. I just have to make this statement. So I know last year we beat the New England Patriots in Foxborough. I was at that game. I was talking my shit. And I remember walking out of Gillette Stadium thinking, this is our year. Like, it is our time to go win the AFC East. And I believe Buffalo lost that week. So we were in first place of the AFC East for 1 week. And then you guys all know what happened next. We lost the next 7 games, 1-7. Season was basically over, and we made a miraculous comeback to somehow finish 9-8. But I say this because I believe if we lose that first game against the Patriots, I think the season's done right there. And I know it sounds crazy to call your season over after 1 week. And I know we won that 1 week last year and went on to lose 7 straight. But with the team that we have right now, with the talent difference that we have right now, if we don't win that game and then we go on the road against Baltimore, who is fully healthy, and then we play Buffalo, who we haven't beat since 2017, and then on the road to Cincinnati primetime football. I mean, starting 0-4 with a brand new head coach, with a brand new scheme, like, you are calling for disaster. Media breathing down your neck. Is Tua your guy? Is Mike McDaniels a hoax? Is he really an offensive guru? Are the Miami Dolphins the biggest fraud in the NFL? You are just inviting all of this poison into your locker room. Now, if we go 1-3, which I would still find very embarrassing, if we don't get out of those
you have no
first
shot.
4
No,
games,
you still have no shot at making the playoffs at 1-3 because the
right.
AFC is too
and I
loaded.
have the graph where it's, if you start 1-3, you have like a 54% chance, or I think it might be worse chance of
No, the
making
AFC is
playoffs.
loaded this year. You
Loaded
have
this
to get
year.
to a hot start.
You have to start 2-2. And then you look at the next 4 games, and they're all very winnable. So if you go 2-2, and then you got the Jets, and then I forgot who's after the Jets, but I'm pretty sure it's a winnable game. You're looking at 4-2, and you're loving life. But God forbid we lose to that Patriots the first game, and we go 0-4, and then our first win is week 5 against the Jets, and we're the 1-4 Dolphins. Dude, throw the season out the window for me. That first game against New England, I look at that game as when they have Alabama playing some dump-ass football team, like a Utah State, and they just go out there and they beat them 63-0, and they set the tone and they get out there and they get going. I think that we don't have to beat the Patriots 63-0, but I think we have to win that game. And I know it sounds crazy. It's only 1 game, and you're right. It is only 1 game, and we won the first game last year and lost the next 7. I just don't think that with all the new pieces that we've added to this team, that losing that first game and then playing Baltimore, Buffalo, and the Bengals, I don't think it's going to help us out at all. I think we need that first win for everyone to be like, okay, this is going to work. This is our new head coach. Like, Tua looks good. Everything looks good. So I just wanted to add that in there, that I really, really think we need that first game if we want the Miami Dolphins to be the team that we think we are. And I think we need to see that as a fan base. Could you imagine all the hype that we've heard all offseason, all the Kool-Aid that we've been sipping, drinking? We're hearing how bad the Patriots are. And if we were to go out and lose that game, I would be throwing up that Kool-Aid for the next week, bro. I really would. We have to go out there and win. Shout out Bryson. I 100% agree with you. If we start 2-2, the season is a successful start. 100%. 100%. I just wanted to put that out there. But you were talking about the running backs, and you said you were talking about Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds. I am actually looking forward to seeing that group compete this Saturday. I think Raheem Mostert has locked up his spot. I think Chase Edmonds has locked up his spot, but I don't believe Sony Michel has locked up his roster spot. Ahmed has looked very, very good at practice. He's looked very, very fast at practice. I'm talking zooming at practice. I think he can make a case for running back 3. I think that is almost as competitive as our wide receiver group. It's not, but it's right under there, because to pick 3 backs from that group is going to be very, very tough. And I think the wide receiver is already locked up. I think we have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Cedric, Easy E. Lynn Bowden's going to make it because of special teams. That's your 5, unless we take
And
6.
Sherfield, you're going to take
Sherfield.
6.
I forgot Sherfield. I always
Yeah.
say Sherfield. Sherfield 4, Lynn Bowden 5.
Well, that's
Or
6.
is that 6?
With Easy.
6. There you go. That's it. 6. I'm tripping. Sorry, guys. Fucking Bud Lights are talking. That's my 6. I think that's locked up because Lynn Bowden plays special teams and all that. But I wanted to ask you, do you think there's still competition in that running back room?
Well, to be honest with you, I think, and this isn't because of how he's played, because it hasn't been great, but I think Sony Michel will make the team. Maybe not a certified lock, but I think it's like 80%, just because he's the only player who can do what he does on this team as a change of pace guy. There's no other, even though he is actually like, he plays like an elusive guy, but on this team, he'll have to be more of a power type running back, just because we have literally no one else other than Alec Ingold on the roster who's a fullback, but we don't have any other running back. So I think he's going to make the team purely based on the way that he plays his play style. But I think there's going to be a major competition. Now, there is a chance that we only carry 3 running backs anyway, so maybe this is all meaningless because there's a very big chance that we just carry 3 running backs. But if we do carry 4, and not including, again, Alec Ingold, the fullback, there's a big dogfight, which I've been talking about on my channel for a while, between Myles Gaskin, Salvin Ahmed, and Zaquandre White. Now, personally, the way I see it going is, and this is if we have 4 guys on the roster. If we don't, then obviously I just put Salvin Ahmed on the practice squad as well. But the way I see it going, this is the way I predicted it. I just think Salvin Ahmed would be the 4th guy if we carry 4. You send Zaquandre White to the practice squad, which everything's good there. And then you're trading Myles Gaskin for a conditional 7th or whatever you can get. I just think Myles Gaskin, like, even at least Salvin Ahmed, he was on the 49ers practice squad in 2020. Like, he has some familiarity there. Everyone has something about, like, Mike McDaniel wanting them or something, but it just seems like Myles Gaskin is the odd man out. He also probably has the most value out of all the running backs too that you're going to trade. So it just kind of makes sense to trade him, and I just don't see him making the team. He also doesn't fit the scheme as well just because of his lack of vision. Like, dude, his vision, like, sometimes it's like, bro, there's a hole. And obviously we're watching from the fan angle, we're watching all 22 film, but dude, it's clear as day. It's like, dude, you have to find that lane. So that's how I see it going. I think it's very interesting that you say, like, I think the wide receivers obviously have way more elite talent, but you're right in terms of like locking it up. I think it is very clear at the running back position. Like Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert are just absolute locks. I think Sony Michel is right there, just not as sure, because I could see us just carrying Salvin Ahmed and maybe doing that. The issue with carrying Salvin Ahmed and not Sony Michel is that you're basically having a guy who does the same thing as Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, but you don't have a guy who can be that change of pace guy. So that's why I have Sony Michel making it. But very excited to see how this goes. I think that's going to be a big thing. You're right. Watching in tomorrow night's game, it's going to be very exciting to see what those guys do. Because again, like we said, like fighting for their lives, they're fighting for a spot on this roster. And there is a thing to be said about Skylar Thompson's probably going to make the team, which means you got to take a player
100%, bro.
Which means you got to take a player from another position group, and they're not going to make it because you would think we'd only carry 2.
I'm very content with that.
And then, dude, if Mike McDaniel loves River Craycraft, they'll carry 7 wide receivers. Trust me, they will. So that means you might have another position who can't have as much depth there. So the way this roster construction is going to be very interesting.
Yep.
I think it's going to be very fun to do a legit 53-man roster prediction and obviously see what it ends up being. But there's going to be some guys who get cut who you don't expect to get cut, which I think is very interesting. So definitely something to be said there. And like, man, it's going to be very interesting to see. So like you said, tomorrow's game, even though we probably won't see most of the starters, it is very, very important to the roster construction of this team, to the guys who are going to make this team, to the position of the guys who are going to make this team, because that's going to be makeup of the roster. Obviously, you can call up 2 practice squad guys every regular season game. But, dude, it's going to be very interesting to see because you also have, like, the politics of, do we keep a guy on the active roster? Because if we put him on the practice squad, even though that's where we would want him, he might get picked up, right? He might get claimed. So there's so many different things that goes into 53-man roster. So, man, it's going to be very fun. And this game is, like, listen, we all know how it doesn't mean too much in terms of regular season for starters. But for backups and stuff, dude, this is where they're going to try and make this team. This is their Super Bowl. This is where they're going all out. I say it like this because I want to emphasize how big it is to them. They are literally fighting for their life as a football player, as a professional football player. So it's going to be very fun to watch. I'm very excited to see this game tomorrow. And I'm very excited to see the running game. I'm very excited to see them fight for their roster spots. Like you said, the wide receiver room might be locked in terms of who's going to make the team, but the depth chart can always be moving. So you're going to see the bottom guys on the depth chart at wide receiver. River Craycraft doesn't want to be the 7th wide receiver on the team. He wants to move up.
No, he's good. He gets separation.
Exactly.
Man.
No, but that's
He's
what I'm
good off the
saying.
line.
These guys, even the 2s and 3s who might be a lock to make the team, they still want to move up in the depth chart.
Right.
Again, River Craycraft might be happy just to make the team, but he doesn't want to be the 7th wide receiver. He wants to play better in this game and try and get up that depth chart, be ahead of a guy like Trent Sherfield, right? So there's going to be guys who, man, like it's going to be an interesting thing to see. And like the place on your depth chart matters. It's not spoken enough about it. So I'm very excited to see what happens. And like you said, it's going to be very fun to see the running game, see who kind of claims that spot. And yeah, man, we're getting into it because like we said at the beginning of the show, after tomorrow, we're on, baby. It's on.
Yep. Jose says Dolphins open 3-1, just lose a close one to the Bills. I'd rather start 2-2 and beat Buffalo. That'll tell me where we're at. And I know that sounds crazy, but if we go 3-1 and lose to our division rival against the Bills at our own house, I think we're frauds. Sure, we might make the playoffs, we might win 10 games, but if we can't beat Buffalo one time, this team is not legit. This team's not going to make a playoff run. If we can't beat our own division rival one time at our own house, we are not as good as we think we are. 3-1, losing to Buffalo at our own house, spit on that. I'd rather go 2-2 and beat Buffalo. That shows me that we could compete with the big guy in our division. Then we could go out there and we could make some freaking noise because then we got the Jets 3-2. I think we could be 4-2 through our first 6. And if we beat Buffalo, the sky's the limit for this football team. Sky's the limit for this football team. I do not want to lose that game week 3 against Buffalo. I don't want to lose week 1, and I don't want to lose week 3. I think that week 3 game against Buffalo is a must-win game just for us fans to know, okay, we have a shot. Like, this team is different because what's been the same thing for this football team the last 4 years? Getting our ass whooped by Buffalo. We need to go out there. We need to change that. I'm tired of being scared of playing against Buffalo. This team needs to beat Buffalo one time. I don't care if we're 3-1. If we lose to that team, I am not sipping this Kool-Aid. We must beat Buffalo at least one time this year.
The Bills game, I think out of the first 4 games, I think the Bills game is probably more important. But, dude, I am excited for the primetime game against the Bengals. That's a big-time game. You have the guys who went to the Super Bowl. Obviously, Joe Burrow, the first overall pick of Tua's draft. They're going to head-to-head. And I think that's going to be fun as hell because, obviously, we all know these storylines into this. Man, I am very, very excited to watch the Bengals and Dolphins play on Thursday Night Football. Like RJ said, RJ2K says, what if it's a close game? Listen,
no, it doesn't matter. You need to win the game. A close game against Buffalo is just a moral victory. Moral victories are for people that feel sorry for themselves. I'm tired of feeling sorry for myself. We haven't won a playoff game in 22 years. I don't want a moral victory. I want to beat Buffalo at our own house. That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat your division rival on your home field. You bring in Tyreek Hill. You bring in Jalen Waddle. You bring in Teron Armstead. You have guys like Jalen Phillips, Christian Wilkins, Ogba, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones. You have all these playmakers. It's time to beat Buffalo. I don't want a close game with Buffalo. I want to fucking win, bro. I want to fucking win.
Our second game against Buffalo was close for the first half. Did that mean anything else? We still got our asses whipped, and no one felt better about that. Oh, our defense stepped up. We couldn't do anything on offense. So I think we need to beat Buffalo. I think that's one of your better things that you've said. I think I've taken that and I've said it myself. Dude, we need to beat the Buffalo one time. Once. We have to go 1-1.
That's how I know if we're legit. That's how I know if we're legit.
That's how you know if we're actual contenders.
Since Josh Allen came to the team. We haven't beat Josh Allen one time. At least Brady, he would come to South Florida and we'd beat him up a little bit. Bro, Josh Allen comes down here. He's at the fucking club the night before, and he's coming out the next day throwing for 3 touchdowns and 400 yards. If we lose to Buffalo 23-21, I'm pissed off because that means that's a game we should have won, and we're just the same old Dolphins losing games that we should win. I don't know if you're watching Hard Knocks. Fucking Dan Campbell's out there. I mean, it's the most Lions thing. They lost 5 games on the last drive, and it's just that's what the Lions do. That's what the Lions do. And to be honest, we're not far off of them. They're the longest streak without a playoff win. Guess who's second? Right here. The Miami Dolphins. It's time to change the culture. You need to go out there and you need to beat Buffalo on your home turf. Period. End of story. There's no moral victory. I will not feel better that we only lost to Buffalo by 3 points on our own fucking team. Time to change the culture.
And like you said, no moral victories. I don't care how we win. If we win 1-0, I know that's not even possible, but we win 3-0, 2-0.
2-0. Don't care.
On a safety. I don't care. At least we beat them. There's something to be you need to beat this team, dude. They've taken over from the Patriots of beating the brakes off this division. We have to beat them once, because if we don't beat them, let's say we go 3-1, that will prove to me, okay, we can make the playoffs. But if we lose to Buffalo, we're not going to win a playoff game. That's not going to happen. If you beat Buffalo, though, you are a contender.
Right.
You're a contender. That is what you are. And that is what we all want to be. You want to be a contender for a long time and go to Super Bowls and win Super Bowls. That's the whole point of trying to draft a quarterback who can be your guy for 15 years. Same thing with building up a defense, having a guy like Xavier Howard who can anchor your defense from the quarterback of a defense. Teron Armstead, all these guys. We're here.
You don't bring in Tyreek Hill to lose twice to Buffalo.
Listen, we're all excited to make the playoffs, but that's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to be contenders and win games. And contending means you beat teams like Buffalo. You don't just beat on the shitters. You don't just beat the Lions and go, woohoo, we beat the teams you were supposed to beat. Being a contender means you beat teams that you weren't supposed to beat, and you do it convincingly, and you show what you've built. So I'm very excited to see what happens. And you're right, dude. I'm not saying we have to go 2-0 because they're a very good team. They might be the best team in the NFL.
They're a great football team,
but that's the type
of teams we need to beat. That's the type of teams we need to beat.
That's the closest you'll get to playoff football in the regular season.
And I don't know about you guys, but I want to see a fucking playoff game at the Hard Rock Stadium. I'm tired of just being wild card Sally and getting blown out by 30 points. I've been to 2 playoff games. We got whooped by the Ravens at home, and then I flew to Pittsburgh. And I wish I never did, because that game was embarrassing. And I don't want to be the New England Patriots of last year, make the playoffs, and then lose by 55 points against Buffalo. Nah, I want to win. I want to take over this division. And you cannot win this division unless you beat the man. If you want to be the man, you have to beat the man. And we need to start beating Buffalo. But John,
we are here to try and be the face of the league, man. If we win, look at Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Look at them.
They took over. No one thought they'd make the playoffs last year.
And now look at them. They're one of the faces of the league. Yep. If you want people to talk about Jalen Waddle like they talk about Jamar Chase, you want guys to talk about Tua like they talk about Joe Burrow, that is what you have to do. You have to make a statement on the national level, which is playoffs. That's what it is. No one's watching a 1:00 game between the Dolphins and the Lions. Listen, we will. But you think other people over some of the other games on that slate, just for some casual fans, you think they're watching the Dolphins? Maybe now because of Tyreek Hill, but other than that, they're not.
No.
They'll probably watch Red Zone. They'll see the Tyreek Hill highlight. Hopefully that we'll see, but they're not going to watch. But you know who they will watch? The Bengals. It's the truth. They want to see Jamar Chase. They want to see Joe Burrow. So I think it's very, very exciting. And I think, man, we're ready. It's time that we become contenders. It's time.
I agree. All right, so we're up to the 58th minute of the episode. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 800. You guys helped us blow past 700. I'm so grateful and blessed to have all you guys. The chat's been on fire today. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Last thing before we wrap it up. So we got the Dolphins up against the Eagles Saturday Night Football at the Hard Rock Stadium. We got to make our predictions. And I think the Dolphins are going to go out with a bang. I think we go out there and we win the game 24-20. I think Skylar Thompson goes out there 16 of 23 for 2 touchdowns and 215 yards. Miami Dolphins beat the Eagles 24-20.
All right, so just cheap plug. I'll be live on stream tomorrow on my channel. Now, for my prediction, I think Skylar Thompson is going to play the entire game. I think that's what they're going to do, just because you know what you're going to have out of Teddy. I think he's going to go for 250 yards. Give me 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think they're going to let it loose. Let me see that. You're
going to get the Skylineers fired up. 3 touchdowns.
I know, which is crazy. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. You know, I think he's going to try and air it out. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of the offense. And then I'll say 28-21 Dolphins. Get a running touchdown in there as well. That's what I'm trying to see. Obviously, dude, we might be in here for a barn burner. As you know, that's the complete opposite of what I mean. We might be in here for a sludge of a game. Some backups in there. They're fighting for their life. Might be kind of sloppy. But, hey, let it be exciting. Let Skylar go ball out. And getting all the Skylineers, I don't even know what that means, getting them going. But very excited to see that.
Well, you heard it from the man himself. Shout out to everyone that watched the full hour. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. If you haven't already, check out Jay's YouTube channel. He's absolutely killing it. Content every single week. He's the absolute man. I mean, he might as well just work for the front office. This guy knows too much. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I love all you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the game Saturday night, and we will see you right back here on the Smoke Show at 5 p.m. on Monday. Fins up.
Fins up, baby.